Hi everybody, this video is about raising awareness for mental health. Now, living with an illness gets easier over time. It takes time and it takes patience. You have to have that patient there to give yourself time to heal. Now, you eventually, those that are suffering with an illness eventually get those coping strategies, so when those triggers come along, they're there to use to help you deal with those difficult situations as well. But a lot of the time as well, when someone's in that moment of despair, pain and suffering, there's a lot of added to it, the added that's laid on top, which it is a natural response. It takes time and practice to overcome all that. And the added is like the fear around it, the anxiety, the anger towards it, anger towards themselves because of it, shame of even being, why am I like this? The list carries on, but that's the added to the what is laid on top. So like I said, there's the awareness around, raising that awareness around mental health, those that are living with a mental illness, trying to live a normal life with their illness. Now, it's not all doom and gloom with an illness. There are plus sides to it, which eventually, like I said, you have to have the patience there in the healing. You've got to it has to heal. The mind has to heal around it. Now, with the eventually, over time, you get to know your coping strategies, and that those that are suffering with an illness, you gradually get to know, like I just said, your coping strategies. You get to know that they work. So it helps along the line with the recovery of the illness. So that's the plus side of things, and eventually you get stronger with it when you're in them moments of despair. Even though when you're in them moments, it may not feel like this is going to work. Sometimes things don't work. It all goes out the window. Now, you may be thinking, how do you know that? I don't suffer with a mental illness. This is my channel for support for mental health. But my partner, he do. And I've seen him come a long way. And I've seen him in those moments of despair. And over the time, I've seen him, how quick he's come out of those situations. And it's all done by hard work of what he's done along the line with his coping strategies. So it is possible. So anybody out there that is in that situation and feeling in that despair of pain and suffering and thinking, am I going to get out of this situation? It is possible, and it is possible to live a near normal life with it as well. So, there are benefits, positive sides of it. It may sometimes feel like a bit of a roller coaster, but over time it do get better. So there is hope out there, and that's what we should be bringing, hope and a bit of support to those that are out there suffering and living with a mental illness. A bit of hope and compassion and kindness around it. Now, I want to talk as well about the triggers that we don't, like triggers that are unavoidable. And one of them was the situation we're in now with this COVID-19, which has been going on since last year, throughout the year, and into this year. Now, that's a big trigger for people's well-being, how it's affected people's lives, the pain, the pain and suffering around it, how it's affected people's well-being, and for those that, like, you know, that are already suffering with an illness, it's just added to their illness. And just in general, like I said, that our lives have been turned upside down with it all. And you know, it's the new normal. They're saying, you know, it's the new normal at the moment. There's not much normality going around. And that's what it's like for those that are suffering with an illness. That's how they feel sometimes. You know, there's the reality around things. The reality doesn't seem as it should be. But in general, we're in this situation at the moment. We're in this tough situation at the moment. It is what it is. And it's all about how we cope with it, how we cope with this situation. Now, if we add to it anger, frustration, the anger around it, the resentment around it, rebel against it, it's all it's going to do is make the situation worse. You know, we're in these tier 4 restrictions. We're in them for a reason. They are to cope with this pandemic that's getting about. So why don't we just do the right thing and cope with it the right way and keep ourselves safe and well and others safe and well? That's all we can do at the moment. Like I said, with the added, people act like the added. It's the same with a mental illness. It's not exactly the same, but with the added on top of the situation of their illness, like the anger, the resentment, it makes it worse. It makes it feel worse. So by adding to this situation, this tough situation that we're in, it's going to make it even feel worse. So this video, like I said, was for raising awareness for mental health. People living with an illness is about raising awareness there. Now, what can we do to help with that? There are many things that we can do to help with that. Is bringing hope, having hope, bringing hope to those who are out there suffering with an illness, suffering with their mental health, and taking away that doubt. Don't doubt, because don't doubt a person that's suffering with a mental illness. It is possible to live a near normal life with a mental illness, and that's what we should be doing, is helping, keeping that conversation going and giving them a bit of support, hope, bringing hope there for them, and kindness, being kind. We all need a bit of kindness, compassion. So why don't we start the year, it's the beginning of a new year, with some hope, kindness and compassion with it, with mental health, raising that awareness there, keeping that conversation going. And there's one more thing that we can do, or you can do, whoever is watching this video, is share this video to keep the conversation going. That is another thing, but keep that awareness there, keep the awareness around mental health, because people say, is mental health important? The answer to that is yes, it is important, because it has its downfalls with it as well. And the downfalls are that it makes it very difficult sometimes for people to cope and to cope, and the situations that they get into, like with the illness, the moments, like I said, how it affects you within yourself. Everything just goes out the window, and how it affects you within yourself. Loneliness, feeling isolated around it all. So let's change all that and keep that raise that awareness, and bring some kindness, hope, and compassion. Now, I want to end the video by just saying about this tough situation we're in. Let's too start the year with some hope. We may be in a tough situation at the moment, a dark cloud looming over us because of it, because of this pandemic, because of this COVID-19, but eventually it will get better. That cloud will shift, that cloud will move, and that light will appear at the end of the tunnel, and things will get better. We just have to have the patience there, and like I said, be kind to one another, because kindness do make a difference. And all the pain and suffering that is caused, eventually it will pass. That pain and suffering that has caused, that COVID-19 has caused, will pass. So, like I said, please share this video, because our mental health is important. And and the channel I do, my YouTube channel, is about mental health, and we do need to keep the conversation going. Please subscribe if you wish to as well. That will help support my channel, and give us a like.